Here we are.
Hey, there it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Gotta scoot in. Gotta scoot in for the sexiness.
Yeah, we do. Oh, I had a
Squeaky squeaks.
squeak. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the good old Super Chat 64.
The British edition.
The British edition. Today, we will be having tea on a regular schedule. And I don't know where I'm going.
Alright. Works for me.
Right, so let me get some pages up here. So we can see if anyone's talking to us. They're not, so that's good. That's a good sign so far.
We haven't embarrassed ourselves
We
yet.
have not, and video looks fine, so flawless. Let's do it.
Oh god, is that what we sound like? Oh gosh.
Oh my god, why is the sound on?
Boop. Get it out of here. Oh gosh.
So anyways, quite a few stuff we can go through today. I think today me and Alex are going to attempt to go through our nice little backlog of topics that we have. Alex brought it up that we do indeed have quite a few topics that we've kind of... Basically, what we do is we get a bunch of topics together, and obviously we won't be able to talk about them. But the ones we don't talk about, we do still keep on a list.
Yep.
And so when we can come back to them, we can come back to them. And today just looks like one of those days that we're just going to do some backlogging.
Backloggery.
So I'm happy to be back.
Yes, welcome. Yes, you made it.
I did. I just got off the plane. I'm just kidding. I didn't. I got
and
home.
boy, are his arms tired.
I've been flying, so my arms are incredibly tired. Funny, Amanda's Amanda's dad. That's like his main joke when I tell him that I'm going flying somewhere.
Good.
I mean, it is prime dad joke.
It is. It is the archetypical dad joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad to be back. I got back on Friday. I've pretty much been busy all weekend. I'm just my body was drained. Sunday wasn't too bad. Sunday I kind of lounged around. But, yesterday actually was my first night where I actually got able to like sit down
and
just
breathe.
Relax, play some games. I mean, I had a chance to sit down and we relaxed on Sunday. I should say we watched Hey Arnold, which is equally awesome. So we're finally on season 2.
Man, so fucking good.
But yeah, out of town blows.
Out of town blows.
Usual. Hotels suck.
Yeah.
You know? And I had like an hour drive to the place that I was actually working at. So
gross.
Every day, good old get in the car, 6 o'clock in the morning, start driving.
And hate everything.
Yes.
And everyone.
So I guess we'll get into kind of what we've been doing for the past week.
Yeah, on to happier topics.
Yes. I don't know what Alex has been doing. See, Alex is a recluse.
What do I do with my life?
He just goes into these holes.
I'm a hobbit, and you know we have...
Yes, you have hobbit holes.
Digging, we have burrowing abilities.
Hobbit houses are one of the best things I've ever seen.
Oh man, I would legitimately want one. Unironically want one.
Right, I want Bag End so bad.
Yeah.
It is such an awesome looking home.
I kind of do, yeah. Like
imagine being in the ground, you're all fucking geothermal. I mean, you look, it's right up your alley.
Wonderful.
You're good against the environment.
I fucking hate the cold, so...
Yes.
Boom, there it is, yeah. I'm liking this idea the more and more we describe it. Yeah.
But, what have you been doing for the past week?
What have I been doing with my life? I've been playing not a whole lot of games, with the exception of the weekend, thankfully. I was able to get some good gaming time in, because... As Justin knows, during the week it can be shit, and then you get Google Hangouts calls. Who dares disturb my slumber?
Does it actually work really well?
I mean, I don't use it on my phone. I use it at home. But yeah,
did you get a new phone?
Nope, had this on the whole time.
Did you?
Yep. It's an S4, so nothing fancy. Galaxy S4.
For some reason, I kept thinking you have a flip phone.
I actually did have a flip phone up until. It would have been 2011 was when I finally got a smartphone. I held on for dear life. Well, actually, the problem was that my flip phone wouldn't die. I was like, I'll get a new phone when this one breaks. And it just didn't break. It was one of those old school razors. With those things that lasted fucking ever. So, or at least mine did. I guess others didn't work so well for other people. But yeah, mine lasted for like a goddamn near century. And I just like, damn it, I kind of want this to break so I can just buy myself a new one. And it eventually did buzz out of me.
Would you say that your mentality on purchasing something new, such as a phone, would be, if yours isn't currently diminished and broken by any means, you are hard pressed to buy a new phone.
As long as it's functional and isn't like going in a snail's pace. My Atrix, the one I had before this, was a smartphone, and that one towards the end of its lifetime was chugging pretty bad. It was pretty horrendous. And I'd always heard that like some of the older Android phones kind of had that problem where as time went on and as updates didn't get pushed out to them, they just accumulated this horrible sluggishness, and the Atrix was pretty awful. This one's been pretty good, though.
I will say my first smartphone was the Nexus 1. And that still outweighs my iPhone for some reason.
Yes.
And the Nexus 1 had a lot of features that still I don't see on a lot of major phones. The movable fucking wallpapers that I absolutely loved. My iPhone is still hard pressed to have those. I know Android still has them, but on select phones, I guess. Anyone's that actually have decent processing power.
Isaac Rebirth, by the way, from D-Man.
Oh,
fucking
good.
Love Binding of Isaac.
I've actually never played... but
man.
I've watched many Let's Plays.
It is delicious.
Binding of Isaac, so I don't think I have the coordination.
It's an impossibly difficult game. D-Man, I'm sure will agree. It is a disgustingly difficult game in all the best ways possible.
And D-Man, the third member will be joining soon.
Good.
I need to make a fucking nameplate for that. So like whenever
you mean a nameplate for me?
Yes, a nameplate for you, so that you're secondary, Alex.
Right. I currently have his spot.
Right.
Or her spot. Alex is an androgynous name, so I don't know. We can see what happens.
Hold on, I have to edit something.
Oh shit. Well, while he's editing, I've been playing. Like I said, I didn't get to play a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I had to move.
Yeah.
And there we go. There we go.
Your nameplate was far away.
I just couldn't. Yeah, I would just have to scoot all the way back.
I didn't know who you were anymore.
Yeah, I was just a blank space of air. Story of my. So my parents call me. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. You're a blank space of air!
You little asshole. But, I didn't play a whole lot of stuff during the week because I was busy with a lot of Extra Life stuff. So, shoutouts if you haven't heard of Extra Life and you want to get in on some gaming action. This is the part of the stream where I plug Extra Life. It's really cool shit. It's a gaming marathon for charity. It happens on November 7th. Go to that shit, extralife.org. But anyway, I was
November what?
November 7th.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Extralife.org. Check that shit out. But, I was doing a lot of stuff for Extra Life and the preparation therein, but... During the weekend, I did play a little bit of a game called Sword Coast Legends. Sword Coast is kind of like Wizards of the Coast, like that style, like a Dungeons and Dragons style of setting.
Gotcha.
Or I guess universe of setting, you would say. And the game Sword Coast Legends is like it's kind of like Baldur's Gate. Not isometric because the camera isn't fixed; you can rotate it, but Diablo-esque. Baldur's Gate-esque type of dungeon crawler.
Gotcha.
But the interesting thing about this one, of course, Baldur's Gate was a single-player or multiplayer co-op campaign where it was just a story and you followed it. There is a story for Sword Coast, but what it also includes is a dungeon master mode where a player can act as the dungeon master. They can make entire adventures from scratch, or they can use a prefabricated one and modify it, add monsters, add NPCs, add events. It's pretty much a game. Oh, and also an entire game around. Like, we're selling this game, but also you get a game which is pretty much like a dungeon maker game, just bundled together for the price of one. We had heard about this game months ago, probably. Actually, it might have even been last year. It might have been late last year when we first heard about it. We went in for the pre-order, like myself and like 5 friends, and. It's actually not out yet. It comes out next week, but they did like an early access, like little sneak peek mode that was showing an earlier build with a lot of settings, with a lot of features disabled, but still had a pretty good amount of stuff to show.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun, but it's because it was such an early build, it was pretty rough. There were a lot of glitches that we saw, and the lag was atrocious. It became unplayable in several parts where we had to just restart because we couldn't play it. Which is a bit of a red flag because it's a week away from release. There's only so much they can fix a week away from release. So as much as I want to, I can't recommend it. Not yet. I can't recommend it yet.
How do Steam reviews look so far? Are they kind of the same thing, I guess?
I actually haven't looked.
The game?
I might be disappointed if I were to look it up. It's called Sword Coast Legends, I believe, is the full name.
I'll give it a little look.
But, yeah, it's really fun. It's got a lot of great ideas, and I think it's destined for greatness, but it's just not there yet. And this is just the sad state of gaming nowadays, where a game is released and it's not a finished product. So you have to wait for the patches, or God help you, the DLC. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that point. Does it not have any reviews yet? I guess it doesn't because it's not out yet.
Yeah, it's not technically out.
And it's not even in early access, you'll notice. It's just nope, it's not out yet.
Really?
So or rather not available, I guess is the phrase.
I mean, it looks good.
It's the production values is really good. Sword Coast as a brand,
but the lag itself
is Sword Coast as a brand has a lot of really great production values behind themselves, and the D&D mechanics behind it are really solid. So it is a good game, but the glitches and the awful lag. I mean, it was to the point where we were like, shit, should I call up Charter and like see if there's something wrong? Because it was bad for this one application alone. So it was pretty harsh. But Sword Coast, I mean, it was still fun, but we were kind of bummed, like, that kind of sucked. But then we played Icewind Dale for like 10 hours on Sunday, and we beat the main game. That last boss, holy shit, that last boss, he was a doozy. Beat the main game, and now we're on to the expansion content. So. More
awesome
Icewind Dale goodness. Then after that, Icewind Dale 2, motherfuckers.
It reminds me of playing Titan Quest. Actually.
Oh shit, yeah.
Did you ever play Titan Quest?
I think I remember seeing stuff about it, and this was back before I had a good PC, so I never did play it.
That was an excellent, very excellent Diablo-esque game, like the type of RPG like that is. I played with 2 other friends of mine. Mm-hmm. And it was just something we did between playing WoW and stuff, and we were just like, let's play Titan Quest, Like,
it's kind of similar,
And I was like, okay, and I just kind of picked it up. I picked up all the expansions, and we literally fucking did everything.
Yes.
And basically, the character I had was extremely overpowered. I was, I'd say, like a glass cannon. So I would go in, but it was like a glass cannon, but melee range glass cannon, so it was even scarier.
Like a melee rogue, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I basically single-handedly beat that game, I guess, and they were my support.
Yes.
Because that's pretty much how it was. So, but it was very fun. They had, it was the first game that had like basically a spell weaving type thing. So like you could queue up spells as you go. So
I can dig it.
Very cool.
I can dig it. Yeah, that sounds super.
Hyrule Warriors. Cool. I've never played Hyrule Warriors.
Yes.
Is it pretty good?
I haven't played it myself. I enjoy the Dynasty Warriors games, and it's a Zelda Dynasty Warriors game. It's crossover, so I mean, what's not to like?
What caused them to make that game? What was the inspiration? Like it just being like, I just want to Dynasty Warriors with the
fuck it, yeah. Probably the same inspiration that caused them to make a Gundam Dynasty Warrior game and all the other
that's true.
spin-offs that they've made, and I embrace it wholeheartly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I think a Mario Dynasty Warrior game is next. On the docket. It isn't, but I like to think that it is, because that would be ridiculous. You summon Mario, he throws a fireball the size of an apartment building and just like bowls over literally a million Goombas. Well, it doesn't bowl. They just instantly flatten like the minute it touches them, and then you get a billion T coins. A billion T. That's insane. That's a lot of zeros.
That's a good amount of coins.
That is.
I wanted to talk to you about one thing, which was what we're talking about, like kind of what we've been doing for the past week. I've been watching videos of Super Mario Maker.
Yes.
Holy shit. Okay,
cool shit.
The one cool thing that I love the fact that they did in Super Mario Maker is that you cannot put out a level unless you can beat it.
Thank fucking God.
Right. Now, coincidentally, that makes a bunch of troll levels.
Yes.
That's normal. But I'm used to playing Happy Wheels. Come on, I'm used to the troll levels.
Yeah.
Okay, make this impossible jump. Just go backwards and then fall through the level and you win. Okay, yeah, sure.
Ding, 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 ding.
But watching these people that make these insane, absolutely fucking insane like games, and then they barely finish it themselves, just to get the game out there, that is so awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because then another person is like, well, I know this is beatable. Like
somehow.
This is somehow beatable.
So they say.
Right.
So they claim.
So I love it.
I love it too.
It's very fucking cool.
Yeah. When it was first announced, I was a little skeptical because there are ROM hack editing tools that let you make Mario, like Super Mario World levels. I was like, what could this possibly bring new to the table? But I mean, they've added a lot of cool shit. They've added, like you mentioned, this really nice feature of quality control, I guess you would call it. They've added like additional characters you can play as like a goofy Luigi mode of NES Mario, which is nightmarish and kind of terrifying to look at. They added Sonic as a playable character, at least in certain parts, which is just hilarious and kind of, it's like it comes full circle.
Yeah.
The fact that they've added all the and actually at the event that I was, not this weekend but the past weekend, which was a gaming design and development and appreciation festival called Pixel Pop. It's an annual festival. It's held in St. Louis. There was the main St. Louis representative for Nintendo was there, and he was demoing Mario Maker. And I was seeing some levels that people were making on the spot, and like, you know, when it comes to like built-in level editors and stuff like that, they tend to be sometimes a little bit restrictive. Like you can't like inflate an enemy to like 300 times its normal size,
right?
And like spam it everywhere. No, you can totally do that.
You can totally do that.
It's the Wild West. You can do just about any fucking thing. And like I was seeing people making these monstrosities, where I'm just like, I'm amazed that the game allows that, but I'm not complaining.
Right, and it gives. I think this has a chance to become a almost a tournament based type deal.
Yeah,
because you could essentially have a bunch of people make these damn near impossible levels, have people lined up that have never played before try to run through it, and I think that would just be so fucking cool. It has a lot of potential for like competitive play, which is what I enjoy. I like competitive stuff, but like any type of speed run type deal, you know, being like, oh, well, I'm going to speed run through this, you know, level with so and so, you know,
never played it before,
you know, like. It's just got a lot of potential, and I really like it.
It's actually funny you mentioned that the Nintendo World Championship that took place a couple months back had that as the final challenge. Was Mario Maker levels that Cosmo nor the other guy had ever seen before, and they had to race. And these are two world-class gamers, and they were beating that shit. And it's like, you've never seen this before. How are you doing this shit? Of course, I mean, you know, these guys play Mario games anyway, but still, it was disgusting watching it. And it reminded me how shitty I am at everything I do. Hooray.
Wonderful.
Hooray. Wonderful. Positive thoughts, yeah. It's cool, though. It's cool that that's how they tied it in.
Right.
Oh, man. It's awesome.
Let you finish, though. What? Anything else? Icewind Dale?
Those two games.
Polish it off for the weekend?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Hope to do more this weekend.
Yeah, me too. Actually, this weekend, I have something going on.
What the hell do I have going
on? Oh, we got some stuff to go. We got Oktoberfest on Friday.
Yes! Yeah, I did hear about that.
And we got a bonfire to go to on Saturday.
Nice. So. Light some buns on fire.
Yes.
Good shit.
Many buns on fire.
Many bun fire.
As far as
light your ass on fire.
Last week goes, I played a bunch of Diablo. Haven't played a bit. I haven't played since midweek last week and got caught up with work, and I ended up working pretty much every fucking night.
Gross.
Back to the hotel. It was disgusting. Got home and then was like, okay, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much what I did until yesterday, and I picked up Pokemon X. So I've been, Amanda let me overwrite her character on Pokemon X.
It's true love.
I absolutely hate the fact that games don't have multiple saves. It always fucking confuses me.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But the Pokemon games refuse to have multiple saves.
It's so odd. Why is that?
So I started that up. I will say Pokemon X is hard to get into right in the beginning. It's difficult because nothing really happens in the beginning.
Okay.
So you get a Pokemon, you get the normal stuff, but nothing really fun happens. Where I'm at now, I'm actually really enjoying it. I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy all the fucking different Pokemon, but I actually really like the way that they do the types now. So the two types, the two type Pokemon.
Yeah.
But there's some awesome fucking combinations you can get as far as Pokemon not being able to take damage and shit. So.
Yeah.
The game is decently difficult, I guess. If you don't focus just on one Pokemon and you focus on your whole team, it's a pretty challenging game. So I'm like 4 badges in and gonna love it. And you got Pokemon Y, wonderful, which means that we can trade each other some goodies.
Tradesies.
So, yeah, love it.
Love it.
Probably play more tonight.
Woo!
So.
Get hype.
I think Brad and I are going to be starting Space Engineers here soon.
Spingineers?
Yes.
I have that game, actually. I played it a decent amount.
Absolutely fucking love that game.
It's really good. I'm always a little bit overwhelmed whenever I fire it up. There's just
you are,
so
because
much.
there is so much you can do.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start over a new scenario, basically brand new scenario. So a new game. And try to survive. I was telling Eric today kind of some funny stories from Space Engineers, and what makes it so good is just the random shit that happens.
Oh, absolutely,
because they literally put you up with like fucking hard pressed shit.
Yeah.
So me and Brad are on the planet. We have a mini miner, and a life support vessel.
Okay.
So he picked up the life support vessel. I picked up the miner when we first started off.
Okay.
And I was like, well, this will be our building blocks. And
so
we're digging, we're doing stuff. I find a couple gas pockets, fucking blow up part, had to repair the fucking miner a little bit. we're digging, doing all right, and then it was like, woo, and it was like asteroid
field,
storm incoming, and we were like, oh fuck,
take cover.
What is that exactly? So I went underground, so I'm waiting underground, and Brad was like, okay, I think it's over. And he's like, I thought I saw one hit. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, fuck. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, our fucking ship is broke halfway in half. Like, it's in half, and it's floating. Like, it's floating. It's physically broken.
Yes.
And I was like, well, can you get anything out of it? So we started, like, fucking salvaging it as quick as we possibly could. Life support was completely fucking gone. It was destroyed. So what we had to do was... in the miner, that was our only life support system. We couldn't make another life support yet because we didn't have the necessary materials. We're still mining for ore. Trying to find like this shit to make it. And so we pretty much, I would go out mining, he would continue building, and we would be passing back ore that way. But once I would get back, he would have to jump into the fucking miner in order to regen his suit. And then he would get back out and do the same thing. And there were so many times where he'd be like, fuck, I'm 10%, I'm 10%. And I'd be like, oh shit. And I'd have to go towards him. The game's so fucking fun. It's good. Very good. And the graphics were great. I like the way the ships control. They give a really good perspective of space.
It's D-Man, it's Space Engineers.
Space Engineers.
It's on PC. Yeah. It's on Steam.
They actually made Medieval Engineers recently too.
They're working on it.
I haven't played anything.
It's in early access.
It's early access right now. Yeah. So
it does look. I think I might even be more interested in Medieval Engineers. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm very interested in Medieval Engineers.
I'm interested to see what they do with that
because I like the fact of building nice castles and then having someone destroy them.
I like the fact of having motherfucking gravity.
Yes.
Because shit always escapes me. Yeah, like no, come back! And I can't. I'm gone. I can't speed up to catch it.
Absolutely.
And it's a frictionless universe. So fuck.
I think having gravity would be nice.
It'll be nice. I'm excited for gravity.
So
gravity hype.
I'd have to look into it. I need to see where they're at as far as production goes. But
I think Space Engineers is also in early access. Technically.
Yes, I think they're technically in beta now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I'm gonna verify.
Let's take a gander. Take a looky-loo. Spingineers.
Space.
Boop. Let's take a look.
They are early access, so it's still early access, but I'm not sure what version they're on right now.
Yeah, who knows?
So far, it's very good though. As far as an early access game goes, they went a long way. When Brad and I first started, they didn't have the airlock system. They didn't actually do much. It kind of just, if it broke, you just knew because your ship would start draining.
Yeah,
now if the airlocks break, you fucking get ripped out of the ship. So, and shit breaks inside if it's not latched down. So like your seat will lift off, like the fucking ground, like it'll get ripped up.
That's
like
awesome.
I will never forget. Like I played recently. I played a couple weeks ago, and I was just in like the test ship, and whenever I didn't do an airlock or asteroid hit the airlock or something like that, and I remember I was just floating. Like the camera zoomed back to my character.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't no longer controlling the ship.
Yep.
My guy was in a chair and he was just floating, and I was like,
floating in place.
All right, something's wrong.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
So, can two or one of you do a dare? No.
I'll have to wait for the after hours stream.
Yeah, after hours stream, absolutely.
That's the 18+ stream.
So, anyways, let's get started. I guess I'm mumbling along here.
Let's do this shit.
We got some backlog, as we said.
Yep.
And I guess we'll start it off good here. Let's just start off with, because I kind of had a question, because I don't actually know a lot of answers to this, but how to get into game design and development. So, take it away, Alex.
Good shit, yeah. And this is a topic that's fresh on my mind. I think I mentioned that not this weekend, but the past weekend, there was a festival that I was in for. I was mostly there for the Extra Life stuff, but I was also there as an attendant because I love this shit. For a game design / development / general appreciation festival that's an annual festival in St. Louis. Granted, it was only its second year, so I mean it's still fairly new, but did a really good job of having a nice variety of things to do and see. Lots of panels from developers and interviews with people who have designed games, lots of artists, musicians, voice actors, pretty much the whole gambit of game design and development was represented. And there was always questions and topics about like how do people get into it, because people like myself love this shit, and oh man, wouldn't it be cool if these people had ideas that they could bring to fruition. And it's tricky because I mean a lot of people will tell you that like you have to have some coding experience to get into game design, or at least game development, and there's something to that, but it's not required. I don't think there's a lot of tools out there that are designed for people who have ideas about games, something that they want to flesh out, and don't have any coding experience, or even more so, don't want to do any coding. The one that I've had the most experience with that I'd recommend personally is Game Maker. It's just called Game Maker.
Really?
There is a free version that's available just to download. You have to like make an account on their website and get a license for it, but both of those things are free to do. Actually, the timing for this could not be better. On Humble Bundle right now, the weekly Humble Bundle is a Game Maker bundle. And if you pledge $6, you will get the Pro Edition of Game Maker, which is normally $99
Oh my god.
So that alone is a motherfucking
Is it the
steal.
daily or weekly bundle?
Weekly. They don't do daily bundles, I don't think. But
oh yeah, my bad.
But yeah, the Game Maker bundle. Naturally, because this is Humble Bundle, they include a lot of shit. But one of the big things you'll see in the far left there on that second row
Game Maker Pro.
is Game Maker Studio Pro. And if you pay the full $12, you get the Android edition, which is good for Android game development. Well, actually, more so like publishing on the Android market.
I think I'm gonna have to get this.
I've been telling my friends, like, if you have no expectation that you'll ever make a game, but have the slightest even just the slightest interest in at least seeing what it's about, $6 will get you in the door. Well, $0 will get you in the door, because like I said, Game Maker is free, but the Pro Edition does come with some extra cool shit. That's not necessary, really, if it's just from an amateur perspective, an enthusiast perspective, but still, it's $6 man. It's a steal. So yeah, check that shit out, and thanks to Justin for posting that link.
Yeah,
definitely wanna recommend that. But yeah, I wouldn't say that coding experience is necessary. It helps. It definitely helps to know some tenets of general coding practices and just how computers work, just in a general sense. Even if it's not a specific coding language, just realize that a computer will do exactly what you tell it to do verbatim, and if it fucks up, it's your fault. So if I jump and my character just goes into infinity and says, "What the fuck? Why would he land? What the hell? This thing's bugged." No, it's not bugged. I just forgot to set a limit for how high I can jump, and I need to wait to descend and not fall through the floor and handle collisions and events and all these other things. There's a lot of things to keep in mind, but it doesn't necessitate coding experience. In fact, one of the things that was asked during one of the panels that I was in attendance for was the question of, I'm in high school right now, or I'm about to start college. What college courses should I take to prepare me for game development? And one of the things that they mentioned, which I thought was interesting, was they did not recommend going into school for game design. There are some degrees out there that are like game development degree or game design degrees, even some game design schools. And some of those can be kind of sketchy, honestly, because a lot of those tend to be for-profit. And for-profit colleges... I mean,
terrible news. I went to one.
I don't want to say they're bad, because there are success stories. I mean, I know Justin has a job.
I hear all the success stories from ITT Tech.
From them, yeah. I mean, in all fairness, you do have a job, and it pays the bills.
I do have a job. I will say that the job I got was not because of the college I went to, but rather the people that I know.
That's kind of where it's at the end of the day. So I mean, they recommended against going, and I mean, and this isn't to harp on people that do choose to go to those colleges and have found success with them, because they do exist, so I'm told. But yeah, they were like, yeah, you really don't need and wouldn't recommend going to school for game development. So they started naming off things that would be good to, like, college courses that would be good to if you wanted to dip your toes in the water. They said programming would be good to have, just a little bit of exposure. Math in general is good to have. And I'll be honest, I went for a computer science degree myself, and computer science requires a lot of math, and I haven't had to use it. Well, I've had to use a very small amount of it, and that small amount was stuff that was specific to computer science. I haven't had to use a lick of calculus or differential equations.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or linear algebra. I've had to use a lot of discrete math, which is a computer science specific thing. But still, having some tenets of math under your belt are good to have. But then the list kept going. Business. You need to know how to market your game. Accounting. You need to make sure that you can, keep your numbers straight. Make sure you don't go over budget. Philosophy. It's good to know, what does your game try to say. Psychology. How do you get the mind of games, of users, or your user experience. Art. You need to be able to, at least shit out something in the form of a decent pixelated, what's the word I'm looking for, sprite. Music. It never hurts to have a good musical background if you want. So what I'm getting at is there's all these things that can go into a game. Really, all you need to do is just pick an avenue that you want to go down and start there. So any of the things that, like, and I only mentioned a couple, the list just kept going, because, like, the message that they were getting at was really any of these things will help you make a game.
Right.
When it gets down to the nitty-gritty of it, when it comes to, like, getting, really just building that momentum and building that confidence and the work ethic and keep going, they recommended finding a group of people to form something of a game studio, if you will, even if it's just an unofficial thing, just a group of friends that have a common goal of wanting to make a game. They recommended that it's good to start with a fresh group of people. It's okay to have people that have made games before or worked on games before, but they recommended, if you're new to it, they recommended against joining an existing studio or an existing project. It's better to start fresh, so that way you get the full exposure to the whole process.
I get you.
Because there is a process. First, you have to decide on what type of game you want to make. Man, that discussion could go on for months, and probably does in a lot of cases. Not only what kind of game, but like the story, or the general direction, the gameplay, look and feel, your development process. Do you want to go in monthly sprints? Do you want to go in bi-weekly meetings? Man, the bureaucracy behind it is important, but it can be frustrating to get all that nailed down from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to have like a shared repository where you're checking stuff in, or do you want to just communicate through email? All these things are important to establish from the forefront. I'm trying to think of any other major things that they discussed. Probably, this was at the festival itself was held at Webster University, which is here in St. Louis, and that's where it was held last year, and it worked out pretty well in both cases. There was always a lot of things to do and see on every hour during the event. Last year was just a one-day thing. It was just a Saturday. This year was a two-day thing, Saturday and Sunday. And they had developers and designers and voice actors from the St. Louis area come together for it.
Very cool.
And I, since I'm with the Extra Life crew and I've been doing a lot of stuff with that, I've established a lot of connections with some of the game developers there, and was invited to the after party afterwards, and got to schmooze around with some of the St. Louis game developers there. And it was interesting because it brought home a really good idea that the festival is trying to really foster this burgeoning St. Louis game development scene, because St. Louis is not a particularly large city.
No.
It's decent population-wise, but culturally it's not huge compared to New York or Chicago or LA.
No.
But still, despite the lower population and the more spread outness of people in the area, there was a lot of interesting stuff to see, and there were a lot of really cool ideas. I mean, there were some like Mario retro gaming clones that were there, but there was a lot of really interesting games being made that had some really fresh ideas. That's the kind of shit that I like seeing when I see independent developers. So I hope that this local game development scene continues to grow and begins to have more of a voice in our community. So I'm certainly hopeful for it, and I love what the Pixel Pop people are doing.
Yeah.
I'm already looking forward to next year.
Yeah, I definitely need to go to next year then, because that sounds like really an awesome, cool stuff. Very cool festival.
It's very educational. Everyone's very welcoming. Pros and amateurs, everyone's welcome. So there's no like snootiness about like trying to get in.
Very awesome.
It's good shit.
What's up, Darkoning Bubbles?
Oh man, I missed a whole bunch of shit. I must have talked for like an hour.
By my calculations,
357 hours actually.
Yes, 357 hours, which is how long until the after-hours stream that I had to say.
Yes. For the ladies and the men.
It was apparently Wiener Chat 64. Apparently, this is.
It's Wiener Chat 69. Pat, get it right, man.
Get it right. Come on, man.
It's Wiener Chat 69 420. Blaze it.
And Mr. Full Metal, good old Kyle says never make them touch.
The wieners.
So, okay. Yeah, understandable.
If bells don't touch, it's not gay.
It's not.
No. Yeah. Tell your kids.
It's a life lesson.
Teach your children. Teach your children. Sexy angel. I saw what they did there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining.
They weren't talking about you. They were talking about Glass of Water.
Glass of Water, Alex, who's
MIA right now.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah,
or she's here in spirit. We haven't determined yet.
She's neutral.
Yep. We're all, we're very welcoming. We're very open. Very, very progressive minded.
But yeah, I would recommend anyone going to pick up that Humble Bundle, because that
$6
by far one of the best deals I've ever seen, and it comes with a lot of shit.
Yeah, and there's other tools out there as well. If you love RPGs, motherfucking RPG Maker. I mean, people might scoff at it, but it actually is a very powerful tool.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Some really good games have been made with it. Actual Sunlight, To the Moon. Some what was the other one? I think I'm probably gonna fuck this up. I think Always Sometimes Monsters might have been made in game.
Now, were these all
in RPG Maker?
Were all these games made with this Game Maker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The original Spelunky, one of my all-time favorite games, was made by one person in Game Maker.
Holy shit!
Derek Yu, the guy's is a fucking wizard. He made.
I was about to say he is a wizard.
He's a motherfucking wizard. He made Spelunky and Aquaria. Two really good indie games, but Spelunky, the original Spelunky, the one that's on the Xbox Live Market, was made, I think, with Microsoft XNA. XNA Studio, which is sadly no longer being supported by Microsoft. So, which is unfortunate. That's actually what I used while I was in college. I was in a game development group, and that's what we used at Microsoft and XNA, and we loved it. But I guess Microsoft didn't. R.I.P. But yeah, man, Game Maker, RPG Maker are the two that I would recommend the most personally. There's a number of other options though. There is oh shit, the name just escaped me. It's a 3D engine that a lot of indie games have been using. Unity is free.
Unity is very cool.
It's very cool, and I haven't used it myself, but I was actually talking to one of our guild members during Pixel Pop who mentioned that he's had a decent amount of programming experience, but not a whole lot. And when he opened up Unity, he was like, "Man, this was so easy to figure out." It rekindled his interest in making games again, and he was like, "Yeah, Unity was his platform of choice."
That's how Brad was. Brad and I actually dabbled into Unity a little bit. We were thinking about making a game last year.
Ooh,
we still have the ground story, so I was going to make the story of it, and then kind of feed him information on what he needs to put in. Brad was able to get a full working world. He had day and night cycles.
Nice.
We had a person on the ground. We had movement, while the movement was very choppy, and
it's something, man.
But he did a lot of it using C, I think so.
C is good shit.
He did surprisingly well.
Yeah,
and he said it was pretty easy to pick up. The bad thing is that we were running on a trial version of Unity.
Yeah,
Unity is $1,000 subscription. So
really,
yeah, I'm almost positive
because I've been told that it's free. What? And maybe it's just the free edition. I mean, as with anything with these types of things, there's multiple editions of it, and to get like the ultra mega badass version that, if you make a game that's going to sell millions and billions of copies, you have to shell out the big bucks for the big license. But I've been told that there's at least a free version.
So there is a free version, which is what we had, but it doesn't really have a lot. And now they have it broken down into $75 a month.
Okay.
For the Pro edition, but it's about $1,000. I think is what it was.
Sounds like for getting started though, that the personal edition would be the way to go.
Right? Yeah, and it gives you a lot of stuff. It gives you a lot of tools. It just doesn't give you the libraries you need, I guess. They give you some of them. And it's just not a lot of support, I guess.
Okay.
So, but it's if you wanted to kind of practice and start with something, you could download Personal, and it would be just fine.
Yeah.
I would say though, right now you literally cannot fucking pass up fucking
this
Game Maker. This deal is absolutely insane.
Yeah, Humble Bundle, check that shit out. Weekly Bundle, look at that shit. It's delicious.
Please do.
The other two that I was going to mention briefly was the Unreal Engine, which is now free.
Oh yes,
it wasn't always free.
It was not.
It was very expensive,
extremely expensive
for many a year.
And then they were like, you know what? We kind of want to make people able to make games.
Yeah.
And then they were like, it's free now.
Oh, the bountiful Unreal.
I have it downloaded on my drives. I've never dabbled in it, but I did grab my copy as soon as they said, hey, yeah.
It's never too late.
Grab your copy. So I went on there and downloaded it. So
it's an extremely powerful engine. Can be a little intimidating. I think it's a little intimidating.
Yeah, it is.
From the outset, but still really impressive. One of my friends is making a game, and he's always been a champion of Epic and everything they do. So he's a big fan of the Unreal Engine.
Very cool.
And it looks fucking gorgeous, the stuff that he's making. So
that's awesome.
I've seen what it can do, and it's intimidating, but it's pretty impressive.
I guess that would be one of our other limitations that me and Brad had was art.
That's usually the biggest one.
We cannot draw to save our fucking life. We can think of creations. You know, everyone can think of creations.
Mental image. Yeah.
Mental image, you can get it, but as far as putting that onto something, we can't get there.
Yeah,
we can make the mechanics all day long, but when it comes to actually putting in a model or putting in the texture,
shitty stick figures forever.
Yes, pretty much. So
yeah, that's in my experience, that's the biggest. What do you want to call it? That's the biggest bottleneck. That's how it was in the game development thing that I was in college. Is that because it's weird. You always think of game development as being like nothing but programmers and a bunch of coders, and that couldn't be far from the truth. Coders are you couldn't swing a dead game project without hitting a coder that can do a game developer.
Right.
A game developer role. But man, finding artists, finding assets, finding music, finding all the voice actors, all these things that you don't. I mean, they're important, but you don't think of them like on the outset, and they really should be thought of at the outset because they cannot be understated. They're important.
I think one of the most impressive things about any game is like I load up, say, one of these iPad games, right? And the production value isn't that great, but it'll have fucking really good music.
Yes.
It is insane. I'm like, where do these people come from? Like, where do these people come from? Yep. Like, well, my game's kind of shit, but I got good music.
FL Studio, baby.
Right. Like, it's extremely good.
It is.
It's I don't know. I find my mind. I'm just boggled by how a game cannot be good, but the music is just fucking top quality. Or even just getting music into a game in general, or shit that doesn't repeat over and over. It's like people create this. Like people made this just for this single purpose.
It's pretty cool. And some of the musicians that we featured on our like intro and outro music have done games for music. They'll be like commissioned for to do a game soundtrack. They'll get paid to do it. And yeah, man, I mean, the game might be shit, but it's by this bomb-ass composer for the music, so win-win. Bing. But the last one I was going to mention, and this one's a little bit more coder-specific, if people are a fan of the Python coding language, there's Pygame, which my buddy Brad had recommended as an alternative to GameMaker if someone prefers the Python language. I actually haven't dabbled in Python. I've never actually used Python before.
I think Python is the future.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Python is so fucking versatile, it's insane.
Sounds like that might be the way to go then.
Like
Pygame.
I am not very proficient in Python. Brad has been making basically he is currently crafting a spaceship.
Nice.
I should say, or it's actually the lunar module they used for the 1970 launch.
Okay.
Right? Well, when they went to the moon, this is what they would use. He's making a full-scale pod.
Oh, that's awesome.
And what he's doing is he's running the internal components off of Kerbal Space Program.
Nice.
Using that for telemetry.
Love it. That's
cool. The way he's made it is with Python. And he actually has working shit.
That's all I love to hear.
He has shown me using flip switches and using a program that literally keeps... He doesn't use any... He's built all of his programs that Kerbal already has, such as like... SAS, like stability management and stuff like that. He doesn't have stability management. His stability management was made using a program.
Nice.
He literally programmed his own stability management using Python. It's actually incredibly impressive. So
that is impressive. I know you've mentioned he's the kind of guy that just does cool shit like this.
He does. It's fucking weird. I wish Brad could fucking stick to one thing though. If he could just stick to one thing.
He's an excitable guy.
He is. I will say that the two things he's stuck with is probably the ship. Probably making this lander and also beer brewing. He is definitely stuck with beer brewing. So
and he seems to love it. And he's apparently quite good at it.
He is. It's extremely good.
Good shit.
So
you heard it here first. But this was years before he established his own microbrewery / spaceship factory.
What's cool is he's actually making me a personalized brew coming up soon. It's gonna be called the Paladin Pale Ale.
Nice.
So I was like, I will take this.
He will use the blood of virgins to as the base. Yes, good. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I never do. The last half hour you can just ignore because there's me bullshitting. Talking out my ass.
On a sign of game development, good level design is another topic we kind of passed over. Good level design. I will say that, there's so many games that do have fucking excellent level design.
There are.
Because you got to think of like the broad spectrum of like open world, but then you have to also think of basically games that are on rails and that they want you to see certain stuff. You know, like a game that like will pass you by something, but it's either you look or you don't. I would say, as far as good level design goes, I think one of my favorites is BioShock Infinite because, yet. It's not open world by any means. You are literally on a rail because they're pushing you to a certain location. Like you can obviously backtrack and stuff and look through buildings as you go, but you don't have to go to those buildings. Right. You know, you're not necessary, but you get a treat when you do.
Yep.
Like you go in and then like the person talks to you, tells you a story, and you learn more about like the environment. I think level design in a whole, I think, is just making the environment enjoyable. And man, they fucking did awesome with that game.
Love it.
I really enjoyed it. What about you?
I always go back to the de facto example for just about every damn thing I talk about, motherfucking Half-Life. It's the archetypical.
Yeah, they are.
And like going through like the developer commentaries for Half-Life 2, or at least Lost Coast, but then Episode 1 and 2, and not just Half-Life, but also the Portal games. I mean, they design the shit out of their games. Like they go balls deep into making sure that the level design makes sense, that it's intuitive and it's enjoyable, and they reward people for exploring, like with BioShock Infinite, and that even though it is on a rail, I mean, it still doesn't feel like it is. They still make it feel like it's a self-contained universe.
Yes.
And you're along for the ride in a sense, but you're also an active participant, and you're not just being guided down hallways, even though sometimes you are. They make it feel like a living, breathing world.
I think good level design kind of comes along the lines of having like a good storytelling ability.
Oh yes.
I think if a game has a really good storytelling ability, they know how to use their environment to their advantage.
That's a really good point.
A game that I absolutely love is Life is Strange. And
oh shit, yeah.
Life is Strange does an amazingly good. They do a really good job at putting shit in the environment that you don't think twice about.
Yep.
And then later you're like, oh fuck.
Yep.
Like you're like, I remember this.
Yep.
And it's coming back to haunt me.
And goddamn it,
because it could be something. It could be something someone said on the street as you pass by. They could have said something, and you would have just thought it's just banter among the people on the streets. And then later you find out something happened, and it's related to that.
Yeah,
it's related to what that person said. So the game is incredibly intuitive, and the level design is definitely not short because they have a lot to do with as far as like the way the maps are put out. So, man, such a good job. I love the Half-Life is a definite. Portal is fucking beautiful when it came to level design. Because it definitely goes along with hand in hand with story. Because going down in Portal 2, Cave Johnson,
motherfucking Cave Johnson,
like being down there, him talking to you, like you're the first people going through the fucking.
Yep. You see the furniture, the style of the retro sign of the times.
The era,
Yeah, man. Oh.
It's funny that they built up every era. That's
literally built up. Yeah, so fucking good. And the other example I was going to bring up, and this is so I have two examples for every topic we have ever in the whole world ever.
Okay, so
first one's Half-Life, second one is Dark Souls.
Ooh, Dark Souls. It's
very level design, baby.
Man, that's fucking good.
And like not just level design, but the overworld design. Like everything is continuous, but also contiguous. You can get from one place to the other. With relative ease, many branching paths, lots of shortcuts you can take. There's lots of ways you can beat the game, and lots of ways where you can kind of cheese the game, like get something early that will help you out, but nothing that will just outright ruin it for you. They seem to have really kind of achieved that perfect nexus of open world, but still guided enough that the player doesn't feel well. I'll actually admit there were a couple of missteps. There were a couple times where I was like, "Ooh, shit! I'm actually not too sure where to go next." But past a certain point, I felt like it gelled so well that I didn't even realize that I was like approaching the final boss, or that I was nearing this one momentous event. It just all felt so natural.
I think the one time in Dark Souls 1 where I felt that I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing was as soon as I got out of the asylum, the original asylum, you get put on the island, and you technically can go both ways. You can go up or down.
God help you.
I went down.
God help you.
I went to the graveyard and I fought skeletons, and I was like, is this the game?
God, it's so hard!
I was like, is this fucking impossible?
Yeah.
And I got far enough to get this fucking broadsword, and I'm like,
this is Zweihander.
Down.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, this is fucking difficult. Yeah. Why is this so hard? And then I found the way up.
Yep. And never looked back. Well, you eventually have to go back, but yeah, no, you didn't. You just never looked back. Yeah.
I never looked back.
Never.
I was like, oh wow, okay, this is where I'm supposed to go. These skeletons die in one hit.
This is the zombies, not the spoopy skeletons. But yes, the spoopy zombies.
Spoopy zombies. They die in one hit.
Yeah. Well, with the fucking Zweihander, they goddamn better.
They did.
That thing was gigantic. Yeah. Yes. That's a good point too. I mean, that's I don't know if that's so much level design as it is just like, all right, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, kind of.
They'll figure it out.
I will say nothing bad about the level design. It was pretty flawless as far as where they placed the pyres and stuff like that for you to save, and I think it was good.
The only bad one I had was after you beat the gargoyles, and you ring the first bell, and so you need to progress further, and you don't really have the wherewithal. You probably don't have the wherewithal to go through the catacombs to get down to Blighttown. So it's like, all right, shit. Well, I've gone as far as I can go down this way. The only other options are to go down the spoopy catacombs or try and fuck with that Drake who's just gonna just gonna melt my dick off. And I remember talking with my buddies who played the game a shit ton. He's like, look through your keys and see, because there were some locked doors that I'd encountered. I was like, ooh, there's this mysterious extra basement key. Let me try some of those. And hey, there we go. And then I found my way down to Blighttown eventually, and hated myself forever. But up until then, no, it's good. And that to me, I don't know if that was a sign of I don't know if that was a poor level design choice, but it was an odd one where I'm like, man, I feel like I've exhausted all the possibilities. Like, what am I missing? And it never dawned on me to look through the multitude of keys that I'd assembled. Because you play Dark Souls, you get a fuck ton of keys.
You get a piss ton of keys.
So that's just how it goes. So I don't know if that was a bad choice, but it was one that was like, that gave me some trouble. But after that, it was all peaches and cream.
D-Man summed it up perfectly. Dark
Beautiful
Souls,
environments, thousands of ways to die, if not trillions.
Yes. Many, many ways to die.
A billion-ty, as I said earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh man,
I love that game.
I love that fucking game. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like level design is always, and I've compared it to like other things in the past where it's like, it's the kind of thing where like when it's really good, if a game has really good level design or if a level's really well designed, you won't really notice. It'll just feel so natural. It won't stand out to you as being really well done. If it's awful level design, you will notice. It's like voice acting. If voice acting is really good, you're probably not going to praise it. It should be, but it's something that it's kind of fairly unsung. Level design is similar, I think.
Final Fantasy 12. Final Fantasy 12. When I first played that game, I was like, this voice acting, something's fucking wrong. Like, something is really wrong. Because it sounds like everyone's talking through a box.
Yeah.
And when they talk, it's like... It's like they're talking through a box, and it's like that video with Hank Hill, and he's like...
I look like I don't want to...
Right. Yeah. Like, I feel like someone downsampled the fucking audio. I mean, it is so awful. I actually need to play an example for you, because I want you to experience what I experienced when I went to play Final Fantasy 13 voice acting. So, 12. Final Fantasy 12.
12. Yeah, it's just, but yeah, the reason I always bring that up is just because I always think it's something like, it's good to look out for, but like half the time I don't even fucking realize it, that like, wow, this was really well designed, and I had no idea. Like, the developers and designers put all this work into it, and I just played through it and didn't even notice that, they probably spent days, if not months, narrowing it down perfectly.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
Final Fantasy voice comparisons.
I guess they compare the,
I miss my brother.
Ooh! Okay, hold on. Let me turn it down a little bit. So this is Van the fucking retard.
Van the fucking retard. That's the title, right?
So this is the Japanese version, right? Flawless voice acting.
Sounds okay.
Right? Okay. It's getting a little bit shittier. Right.
It is. It looks like it was recorded on a less than substantial device as well. This video.
We're getting to it. Yeah, don't worry about the video.
Video quality.
The audio is what matters. Oh my god, hurry. Okay. Okay, fuck this.
So, we might
We got nowhere here.
What we might want to do is we'll look something up after the fact and post it. But the takeaway is apparently Final Fantasy 12 was some shitty voice acting, which isn't terribly surprising.
Okay. Right, so... Yeah, it wasn't really shitty voice acting, it was just shitty quality.
Shitty quality, yeah.
It was so bad. I was like, someone should have caught this.
Yeah.
It was such a good game. Like, downsampled the fucking hell, man.
That sucks. And it maybe is technical limitations, who knows. That shit can be some shit.
So,
Darkroot Garden.
Last thing I wanted to kind of go, and it's something I put on here a while back. So 2D and retro side-scrolls, old and new, is the market too saturated? So my concern is there is a metric pissed fuck ton, just an insane amount of 2D games.
Oh yeah,
like the retro game has come back.
Oh yeah,
like with the fucking full force. Mm-hmm. So you have games like Ollie Ollie and stuff like that. All these 2D games. You got fucking Hotline Miami as a 2D game. They're great games.
Yep.
But like, I wonder, is the market getting so saturated that like it's gonna bite us in the ass here soon? But I guess it's hard to think about because as I'm talking about this, I'm like, well, when 3D games came out, I guess
look what fucking happened.
I guess the market was saturated with 3D games.
Oh, it was not saturated with 3D games. It was saturated with bad 3D games.
Bad 3D games.
I think that's what the distinction is.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, because Bubsy 3D was a masterpiece. No, I can't do it.
Like Superman.
It's like a single tear of blood rolls down my eye. Single tear of blood, and all the sadness in the world was compressed into this one tear.
I don't know. I guess my point of being upset is that I feel like there are so many 2D games that like I want 3D games. You know, like I want there to be high quality games, and I feel like there are so many just mediocre art games. And then they have an amazing story. You know, like that's great. I love those games, but I also want some fucking 3D shit. Give me some good shit. God, I'm fucking tired of this shit. But like, I don't know. I guess I get my AAA titles in, but I'd put this on there because I think it was just during a time where I found that the majority of my PlayStation fucking Vita library was nothing but 2D games. And I was like, I bought this to play like Final Fantasy type games and stuff like that, but the only thing that they market on the fucking store is like just these 2D side scrollers
and trains. Yeah,
it's
quiet today. Our train buddy's a little quiet.
Don't worry, he's actually way over there.
Oh,
he's coming this.
Oh,
way.
Good.
We'll hear him in a minute.
Our train buddy.
Yeah, he's gonna pass by here soon.
Good shit.
I don't know. I do feel like there's too many.
Oh yeah, too many games.
Two.
It's stuck in your head now.
God fucking damn it.
Yep, you're welcome. And it's tricky because I think part of this surfeit of 2D games is probably due to the surfeit of indie games, and 2D games are just easier to develop.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the point I was going to get to, is that 2D games are super easy to develop.
Well, they're easier to develop.
They're not saying it's super easy.
Yeah, they are easier compared to, just from a technical perspective.
When I was looking at the code the guy put up for Super Meat Boy, I was just like, my fucking brain exploded.
My dick hurts thinking about it. Yeah,
there's a lot of shit going on in that game I would have never thought about without looking at like the code that he kind of sampled and was like, hey, this is what this is kind of what this level design looks like in Super Meat Boy. And I was just like, Jesus Christ.
If you want an example of some really just well-crafted code, look at the source code for Doom. It is
really
impeccable.
I never thought about it.
You can find it online, and it's John Carmack is a hero to many, but he's also a hero to programmers because it's just really well constructed. And this was 20 plus years ago, so I mean, goddamn, the dude is a monster in multiple ways. It's just a genius in multiple ways, but just a really well coded game. I don't know if he has other source code for his other games posted, but I know the Doom code is out there. And it's worth chewing on just to take a gander.
Seeing the code for Pong, I don't think Pong would be too bad. I guess it'd just be the way that it was made.
Yeah.
I guess the code was extremely rudimentary.
I mean, the original Pong might not even had code, so to speak. I mean, with C or anything, it might have been like it might have just been with assembly or with probably assembly maybe if I had to guess.
I want you to code me a calculator assembly.
I actually did do that in college.
Are you fucking serious?
We had a class on computer architecture, and it was a fucking tough one. It was like, man, we're so spoiled on like modern IDEs and trains and
I told you he was
compilers. You called it, man, our train buddy.
Yep.
But yeah, like modern compilers, just rebuild it and run it, you're good. But man, motherfucking MIPS assembly, it was
I cannot believe the way that people coded back then.
It was,
and then I'm thinking, we fucking went to the moon.
Yes, we did.
With some really fucking crazy code.
Well, and it made complete perfect sense because we didn't have room for like good compilers on those tiny little computers on there, so we had to make it lightweight and quick with no overhead.
And they compiled as they were in space.
Yeah.
They the programs they ran were technically entering code.
Yeah.
Using the combinations they had available, and then executing said code.
Yep.
Oh, fucking insane.
Because it makes it so it's just much less overhead, so it takes up that much less memory, which is very precious when you got something that tiny in such a tiny space that's doing amazing stuff. They did some cool shit back in those days, most definitely. They're pioneers.
Crazy.
But yeah, the question of too many And I guess it's a question of too many games, just in general.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Because there's only so many hours in the day, man, and I want to play them all, and I can't. The struggle is real. But but at the same time, I don't want to. I don't want to see that as a negative thing. I mean, it's, from a selfish perspective, it's negative because I want to play them all, but I can't.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of cool shit that's coming out of these two games.
And I would say that there is a lot of cool stuff, and I would say it's a start for developers too.
It is.
Like it's a good start for people wanting to make games, test the waters, see where they're at, and kind of go from there and build knowledge. I guess the only way you can really build knowledge is by doing it. So, and
that was the biggest takeaway from all the stuff. Going back to the Pixelpop thing, that was the biggest takeaway. To get started, you have to, and we'll quote the great philosopher Shia LaBeouf. Will you do it with me? Just do it. Then hook out. Yeah, it's the idea is like make a Mario clone, make something shitty. You don't have to put it out. I guess you could if you want to, like on the Android market, but just make a shitty game. Just make something that's just garbage. Make something that's awful. But you've made something. You've made a game. You've made a character that it's like a jump rope game, or you just have a button and it's a timing game. Doesn't matter. It's a fucking game. So if you start with something shitty, being shitty at something is the first step to being awesome at something. So it's a start. And for a lot of these, it very well may be a start, or it's a multi-year project that took hundreds of thousands of dollars, and took years off of their life to make. Then it was also in 2D. So I mean, it's tough to put it into a box of one or the other. Granted, I will agree with you on one thing. There's a lot of shitty games out there. There's shovelware is the word that comes to mind. Where that's
a good name for it.
They just heap. I didn't come up with it, but yeah, that's the term where it's that you just get them by the shovel load. There's just so fucking many.
That's a very good
and they're usually extremely bland and if not awful. And just do a search for a game on the Android market and on the Google Play Store.
I can't even fucking go through the Apple market without. I don't even know what game is good. I literally don't have any games in here other than Hearthstone, and the sole purpose is I was getting games for a while, and I was like, this is so bad. Like, it's unfortunate.
Like the snooty like elitist douchebag in me would say, it's because there are no good mobile games, Justin. Let's go. Sorry, I need to work at the Rockefeller. Like, because there are no good games on the mobile. I don't know if it just has any way of bringing this up or showing this on the screen.
I do. We're gonna show it.
Anyway. But yeah, he's brought us.
Actually, I'm just gonna save it.
He's brought us up a mascot for.
Yep, he's gonna go in the bottom corner
for the game development portion of today's presentation.
Okay.
Almost got it.
We're almost there. We're almost there. We'll have it here in a second. He's going to be very large off the start, but that's okay.
But he's fairly large in life. Large in his career, large in his accomplishments,
I guess.
And large in his thoughts and his opinions. That's pretty large. Are you gonna expand that shit?
Yeah, actually, I am.
To make it, just take up the entire screen. Just no, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yep, keep going, there. Nope, keep going. We've gone full green.
We've done it.
We've achieved. And keep making it smaller.
Actually, hold on. I'm going to make this even better. This is going to be just great.
Okay.
I actually have to move this. Okay. That's not what I wanted to do. I need to move this over so I can fucking see it here.
While Justin is doing that,
keep continuing.
Yeah, I'll try to think if there's anything else that I wanted to add to that topic. I don't want to say that I disagree, but I do think that there is no negative part in having this disgusting amount of 2D indie games, or even 2D non-indie games. As I think from a user's perspective, it's also easier to grasp. You don't have to fuck around. Well, you don't have to fuck around as much with things like camera, which ruins otherwise good games if it's not done just right. There have been a number of games where I would play it and think to myself, man, I wish they would have kept the 2D element. I'm looking at you, Trine 3. Why did you ruin this? You guys had such a good streak, and then you had to make a game 3D, and it ruined it. So
is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened to Trine 3. It's a bucket of garbage. So that's actually not fair. I haven't heard. I've heard that it's a bad game. So I guess a bucket of garbage isn't a good way to put it. But It's gotten all these really bad reviews, and the developers have been like, yeah, man, we took a risk. We tried to make a 3D game, ran out of money, so here's what we got, and we're sorry. So, I mean, there are negative portions to this as well.
Understandable.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And that's the way the news goes.
We got 3 topics in.
We did. Pretty good storm.
Slashing them out.
Making it rain topics.
That's right. We'll be back with current events next week.
Oh shit. What was I see? Do we seem to be a little green right now?
We are a little green.
Do you have any idea are we green with envy right now?
We
about
are.
Something? Is there something you're?
I wish I could just
up?
increase the opacity without having to go into the options, but we're gonna increase them to 25.
Okay.
Okay, and
see.
We're just gonna have a little bit of a spirit with us right now.
He's in the middle so perfectly. It's almost as if it was all planned.
I don't
from
mean
the
to
beginning.
move ourselves here. Hold on.
Whoa! Yeah. The whole world just moved around, just shook. Go world.
Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior Shia.
So let me move this back over so we're not looking at my other screen here. And we're back.
We're back. We made it. Welcome back to Monitor 1, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you, D-Man. I'm glad you said something. I would have never noticed.
Shia LaBeouf is... Look out! He's come up behind you.
I would have never known that he had arrived.
Actual cannibal. Shia LaBeouf.
The thing now is, every stream you guys are going to have to actually just point out where Shia is, because I'm going to hide him somewhere.
Where's Shia?
In the frame.
Where's Waldo?
So, and if you guys point him out, you get a candy.
I could see him fitting well into the bookcase.
Right? Yeah. I have some good plans here.
He's like in the space underneath my armpit.
Very well in places.
His head's just peeking up above the table. Just little Shia head just pooping out there.
Oh wait, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I need to get a new image of Shia. This is just the one that Kyle sent us. Yeah, I'll have him raise his little eyes.
There you go. Just
right above.
Just checking on us, making sure we're staying out of trouble.
He'll be good.
Good guy. He's a good guy, that Shia LaBeouf, when he's not, making shitty movies or ripping off of other people's work.
Okay. Do it.
Just
yeah, I'll probably crop him out and I'll just make him just Shia. It'll just be him, just doing his do it. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
Oh, and you know what? Fuck it. I'll put an Alex glass of water somewhere as well, and if you find both, we go on a date. Yeah, that's just what it is. Internet date.
Implying that this isn't a weekly date. Jeez.
Right.
So modest.
Jeez. But once again, thanks everybody for joining us.
Yep,
I think we're gonna ixnay it now.
Yep. It's a good time. It's a good time
I
to
think
do
we've
so.
been going for about an hour. I really don't know.
What time's it right now? 7:30?
Yeah. It
Sounds
says
about
an
right.
hour and 13. I think we went 15 minutes before with songs. We're going to leave you with a good song.
More good shit.
I'm going to pull it up from my library right now. Let me just do a little quick search and just thank everyone for being so awesome and just so caring. But anyways, goodbye everyone.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. See you all next week.